This is Henry from Brutai.
This is Christian from Brutai.
And you're listening to Louder.
So here with Henry.
Hello.
And Christian.
Hey.
Of Brutai. I'm saying correctly, right?
Brutai, yeah.
Brutai, yeah.
It's kind of like brutal, right?
That without the L, yeah.
Yes.
Drop the L, place the I.
Okay, how you guys doing?
Really good.
Man, yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Okay, having fun on the tour?
So far so good, yeah. We're on day 4.
Day 4. They're kind of all starting to merge a little bit now.
Yeah, lost track of time a little bit.
A little bit.
The other guys from W were jet lagged for the first few days, so everyone was a bit confused, I think. But I think now we're settled now, I think, yeah.
So, you guys have a weird onstage presence with Felix playing the guitar while he's singing. Not many bands do that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think there's a lot of bands now who would have 2 guitar players and a separate vocalist. You know, Fee's got a great vocal range, so he can do both. But you know, it takes a lot of hard work to play the guitar parts and sing at the same time. You know, at one point we considered having a singer, but it's too much of a change, I think, once we've been doing it for so long to go to a different kind of setup in the band. So I think we all quite like the dynamic like that.
Yeah, I mean, Fee kind of he can step back when he's got some complicated vocal parts, and me and Hen can double up on what he's doing. So I think it works.
Yeah.
But have you talked about maybe passing on the guitar to someone else who can jump around?
Well,
give the guitar to Al.
Give the guitar to Al. No, I mean, it would, you know, it adds an extra member, and I think the important thing with that is that it's hard enough touring around with 5 of us, and since you add another person, it means you can't all fit in a car. You've got an extra seat in a van. So, you know, in an ideal world, maybe we'd have 2 guitar players and a separate, and for Felix would just sing. But I think he'd miss it as well, miss the guitar. So
it's one of those things where it just kind of ended up that way, isn't it? And now logistically it works. So
I mean, at some point, if we get to a point where we're playing larger shows and we have a budget for it, then we could have a second guitar player to fill in the gaps maybe, but I don't think we'd have another official member anytime soon.
But if I'm mistaken, you start off as a 4-piece with Alex being some sort of a shadow writer?
Yeah, Alex was like the number one fan of the band for a long time. We were friends. Me, Alex and Felix were all friends from school, so he always followed the band. He always came to the shows, and he's always played keyboard and been a musician. So before we started writing Born, which is the debut album, we had the idea that Alex would come in and do like some vocal bits and some keyboard bits, because we started to introduce a lot more synths and stuff like this. So he fitted into that quite well, and it didn't take very long for him to join. So it went from being normal setup, 2 guitars, bass, drums, now with the keys as well, and I think it adds a lot of atmospherics and a lot of layers, another dynamic to the record and live as well. So.
And there's a rumor online that he was too scared to go on stage.
He was very shy at first. Yeah, very shy.
He even when I joined, I've been with the guys for about 1 year and 8 months now, and he was a lot shyer then. Even when I joined, he's definitely finding his feet on stage now.
So how are you guys helping him? Except for teasing him?
Just massive amounts of pressure, really. It's like, oh, come on, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up, bro, let's do it. I mean, for him, I think it was jumping at the deep end a little bit, because, you know, me and Felix played in a band for a long time. Christian's played in so many bands, ridiculous amount of bands. So we've all got experience playing live, and he kind of came into it quite cold in a live respect. So I think he's improved a lot in the space of a couple of years.
What are the fears that you guys dealt with over the years?
For the band in general?
Specifically for you guys, anything. Maybe it's cheese or spiders.
Oh, my greatest fears? Probably their vocal warm-up or something like that. No, it's...
I really hate spiders.
Okay, how are you dealing with that?
I'm getting better, because me and my fiance have got our own house now, and I kind of have to deal with it. So I think that's kind of helping. So I'm getting there. But maybe one runs across the stage tonight. I don't know if you see me just run off stage. That's why.
And yours?
I can't think of a really something I'm really terrified
lots
of.
Little ones.
Yeah, maybe lots of little ones. A lot of dislikes, a lot of pet hates.
Okay.
Like, I have a fear of things that aren't organised properly.
Okay, some OCD.
Yeah, a little bit, I think. Like people say it gets out of hand. And the desk out there is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Totally unacceptable. If you look in my room or in the studio, then everything's at right angles and it's generally very clean. It's either really clean or completely messy. Very
it's
messy.
Really good for the tour bus as well. If having a couple of clean frees, because I like to stay clean too.
Exactly.
We can kind of try and stay on top of it.
Okay, sounds like just a dispute waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So, Born was released November.
Yeah.
And you guys, I think, have been waiting for a long, long time to release it. I think
It was a
8
long
years in
time.
the making.
Well, no.
The band was formed about 8 years
the
ago.
band, like in its conception, was 8 years ago. But at that age, we were 17, 18 at that point. So it takes a long time for, I think, for people to treat it like a business, to kind of come around to the fact that if you're gonna do this kind of thing, you need to try to like break even or make some kind of money out of it, whether it's through merch or through CD sales or digital sales, whatever it is. But we had the EP in 2013, and then after them, that was nearly 4 years ago. So the making of the album has been from that point onwards, and we recorded a lot of it at home. So that has it's an advantage because it's more comfortable. You can take your time, but it's possibly a disadvantage because you take your time. So you don't have the pressure of a studio. It's like it has to be done by this date. It was kind of, we're going to do it in our own time. But I think it paid off, and taking our time over it was the right idea.
Okay, and since the release of the album, you guys been really waiting for 2017. This tour is really big. It's probably putting you in front of many, many people.
Yeah.
So what's in the cards for Brutai for 2017?
There's so far there's Prog Power, which is going to be in November. Prog Power Europe is going to be in Holland, which looks like a really cool festival. We're playing with Tesseract and Voyager, which are our buddies from Down Under. That's going to be really, really cool. We are, planning on doing hopefully more festivals. Last year we did Bloodstock, but we'd love to go back and do that. And there's a couple of other ones that we would really, really like to be on.
It's the business side. Today we just announced the Fairwood Music publishing deal.
Yeah.
So that's going to help us get more exposure and get stuff overseas and things as well.
Fairwood was a really good step for us, I think, 'cause having a publisher, means that we could be featured on adverts, or it could be movies or wherever else. That's really, really good exposure, for sure. So that was announced today as well.
So your music is going to be in movies, or
Yeah, potentially. The publisher could use it for whatever they see fit, really. So it's another avenue. It's for us to kind of get more exposure, and also to fund the band in itself. 2016 will be a lot of gigs. We've started writing some demos and stuff for the next album, so you can't have too many ideas around. But it will be gig, definitely in the summer, especially.
And if you go back to the EP, it was a bit heavier.
It was.
And I know you guys, every interview you had, you kind of mentioned really heavy bands. And then the album is a bit not as heavy as I would expect it to be. Not saying it's a bad thing, but just a surprise.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I think with the EP again. We started off, it was closer to kind of thrash metal, and I think at that point we didn't really know how to fit the melodic stuff in with it. So it all came out quite heavy, and I think there's something about being a bit younger where you just want to play like fast, balls to the wall metal, which is great, but also we all are big fans of melodic music. So we wanted to bring that kind of influence in. Having Christian and Alex both joined the band since the EP means that there's new influences, and Alex's vocal style with the harmonies and stuff that come through on Born, when that was started to be explored, it was like, let's use this more. Because for all of us, we all love heavy music, like really heavy music. Like Meshuggah, we're going to play upstairs, we're going to watch that. But we all love melodic music as well, and we all want to have something like music with a balance of both. It's melodic, it's a little bit proggy, and then when it's heavy, it's heavy. But it's definitely not as heavy as it used to be.
I know that Alex plays the keyboard. Have you ever thought about putting him up with a keytar?
Keytar.
I've suggested that so many times.
It's been suggested.
Because I get the vibe sometimes when I watch him on stage that he is itching to kind of get away from that spot where he is. So maybe, I think they're cool, man. So
And Christian, you are from Reading.
I am from Reading, yeah.
The rest, except for Matthew, from Toulouse.
Matthew's from Toulouse, yeah. And the rest of us from London, yeah.
You guys are from London. London is just saturated with bands.
Yeah.
Are they all friends supporting each other, or is it a big competition?
From what I've experienced, it's all been pretty mutual. Like, you're just trying to, get the underground scene noticed. So, and it's the same in Reading as well. There's a lot of fantastic metal bands in Reading that are trying to break into London, and I think once you do that, then it's kind of another stage you've got to get through, which is breaking London, through to London. So,
there are a lot of bands out there. I think there always have been, but I think people's presence is stronger now, and it's not easier, but with kind of Facebook and stuff like this, everyone's got a page, and if you market yourself well, you can get noticed easier. So there's definitely a lot of bands out there. And like when we first started in South East London, there was a good metal scene around there, and there was 10, 15 bands, everyone knew each other. But then when you go into the greater London, like the whole of London kind of scene, then it's quite big, yeah. But yeah, we've got on with everyone, played with a lot of shows, played a lot of the Underworld, and you meet the same people, and it's nice.
So you guys are happy with staying around London, or are you going to move to Reading?
We played a couple of times in Reading.
Played a couple, yeah.
But ultimately, for me, probably speaking the same for the rest of the guys, we'll just play wherever we can now, really. I mean, London's great, but getting out on this tour's just been awesome as well, because you see venues you wouldn't normally get to see. So
you often find that outside of London, the turnout for some of the gigs that we've played in the past will be better, because if it's a Wednesday night in London, people are less inclined to go unless it's someone they really, really have to see. Whereas if you go a little bit further out to quieter towns, then people are more open to going out to see smaller bands or to see smaller shows.
And I've seen a video of you guys playing some sort of an a cappella version of your song.
Yeah,
is this something that you're going to bring to the stage?
I mean, maybe if we had a longer set, and we were doing an hour and a half someday, then that kind of thing might be popped out. I mean, was it on the bus, the one?
There was something where I think we just moved behind each other and just added another layer.
Oh, that one, yeah, that's the proper a cappella one. That's in rehearsal. Yeah, that would be a laugh. Yeah, we might break that out.
I think it's something I probably need to get a bit of vocal help, because it's been a long time since I've done any singing, but we have got different kind of voices that would probably work. So
it could be very entertaining.
Final question: is clarinet metal?
It is in the Border. I think it's in the Border. Is it in? Yeah. So if you listen to the Border from the album, that's metal clarinet for you.
Okay. So are you guys influenced by klezmers as well? Klezmers?
What's a klezmer?
The kind of Jewish Eastern European music, all about clarinet.
Yeah.
No, never heard of that?
No.
So you gotta start check that out.
I mean, I'll turn Alex onto that because he's the one who played the clarinet on the album.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I think we covered everything.
Awesome.
Is there anything else you would like to add to fans and listeners?
Thanks for the continued support, and try and get and see us on tour, man.
Yeah. See us for the rest of the tour. We're still out for another 13 days, pretty much. Another 13 days. So we'll be in Nottingham, Sheffield, Newcastle, Manchester tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, then we work our way down south. Yeah. We got Bristol, Southampton, London again with the Underworld. So yeah, be cool, man.
Come see us.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks,
Thank
dude.
you.